So that's parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. What the heck does that mean? So if you have a slope, let's call it A over B, its opposite reciprocal would be change the sign. That would make it opposite. Reciprocal would mean flip the fraction. That'll make more sense here in a second. Hopefully.
It makes sense to me because I was here yesterday.
That's right. Should make sense to all of us because we all did the assignments and whatnot that we were supposed to.
Yeah. I looked at the Khan Academy and I was like, man, I can get this knocked out. It took me 30 minutes.
That should be an O. It doesn't look right. Okay. Let me take a picture of the book and we'll get going here. So the main ingredient to these lines is slope. That's why we focus on them so much. So AB is a line, CD is a line. We have to decide if they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither.
Parallel.
Could be perpendicular.
No. It could be neither.
Could be neither. So we have to find the slope. So A to B. AB, that's these guys, right? Find the slope of those 2 points. And find the slope of CD, those 2 points. Okay, let's try it here. The difference in y is on top, so I subtract the y's. That's 3 minus 11. Over the x is on the bottom, that's 8. It's a negative 8. Minus a negative. Whenever I minus a negative, it's a plus. Minus the negative 4. So that's a negative 8 here. That's a negative 4 here. Slope of AC, do that math, is 2. Everybody following?
Yeah.
Now we have to find the slope of CD. Now I have to find the slope of CD. That's 3 minus 2 over negative 1 minus 1. See where I'm getting those numbers from? I'm looking at C, looking at D. It's 3 minus 2. Subtract the y's on top. Subtract the x's on bottom. So that's 1 over negative 2. So we have to compare these now. Is 2 the same as negative 1/2? Are they the same number? No, they're not. So are they parallel? No. Are they perpendicular? Are they opposite reciprocals? Are they? Yeah, they are. So 2, if you were to write it as a fraction, it would be 2 over 1, and when you flip it and change the sign, it would be 1 over 2, a negative 1 over 2. So number 1 is those lines are perpendicular. Why don't you guys try number 2? I'm going to make a little more room on my screen here. Okay, there's number 2. I'm going to do number 2 over here. So just looking at the slope, 5 minus the negative 1, so that's 5 plus 1 on top. On the bottom, 3 minus 2, so that's going to be 6 over 2. I just did number 1.
That's 6 over 1.
Say it again?
Isn't it 3 minus 2?
Oh, yeah, it is. Mistake. That's a strike. So it's 3 minus 2, that is a 2. And so it's 6 over 1, which is 6. So that's the slope of AB. Now I have to find the slope of CD. So that's negative 2 minus 16 over 7 minus 10. Double check it.
I have a question. So, like, I think that's nice to talk about. Because it's a different, the way you're adding and subtracting those, that's not the same way you find the slope normally, right? Like the y2 minus y1, because you're doing it the other way, aren't you?
I'm doing, I guess you could say I'm doing y1 minus y2.
Okay. That's why.
But it doesn't really matter which way you do it. I mean, if you switch those orders, like, and say I'm going to find the slope of BA, instead of saying I'm going to find the slope of AB, it's the exact same thing.
Okay.
In my mind, it just makes sense to go left to right, like you would read, and just subtract it like you see it, right?
Okay.
Rather than jumping back and forth and back and forth. Yeah. Good. Is 6 the same as 6? Are they parallel, perpendicular, neither? Parallel. Try number 3 on your own. Some of you guys, I'm afraid, you just sat back there and were zombified for 10 minutes. So let's try to turn that brain on and see if you can do number 3 on your own. Zombify. You don't know what? The slope of AB. The slope of AB. What do you got? That's not what I got. Did you get 0 over negative 1? Yeah, so 0 over anything is 0. I used to sing a song in my freshman class. They all thought I was so cool.
When I got 0 over,
It was 0 over...
I just got regular 1, I think.
A what?
0 over 1.
I'm getting 0 over negative 1. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you got 0 over 1, that means you just subtracted wrong.
Okay.
But again, it doesn't matter. So you can do 0 over 1. Yeah, that's okay. Either way, when you simplify that, it's going to be 0. That's why it's like, that's why it doesn't matter. 0 is on top, 0 is what you got, 0 on the bottom, undefined. Clap, clap. We chant that in algebra. 0 is on top, 0 is what you got. 0 on the bottom, undefined. Clap, clap. What'd you get for the line CD? What's the slope there? 1. Is 0 the same as 1? Is 0 the opposite reciprocal of 1? Is 0 and 1 opposite reciprocals? They're not, right? So it's neither. By the way, what would 0's opposite reciprocal be? Undefined. Good. Yeah. Good. Okay, number 4, what is an equation of a line perpendicular to y equals minus negative 4x plus 1 that contains 2, negative 3? The main ingredient, our main focus is slope. What is slope in this case? What's the slope of that line? 4 equals negative 4x plus 1. What's the slope? The slope on number 4 is negative 4. So what's its perpendicular slope have to be? The perpendicular line. What would its slope be? It would be a positive 1 over 4. Good. So I'm going to take that slope, that perpendicular slope, along with that point 2, negative 3, and write an equation for that line. go. Don't need to go any farther than that. Okay? Number 5, your classmate tries to find an equation for a parallel line y equals 3x minus 5 that contains negative 4, comma 2. What is your classmate's error? Slope of the given line is 3. Slope of the parallel line is 1/3. So then he plugs in 1/3 and the point. And what's his error, Phoenix?
It's not negative 1/3.
Yeah, the slope of parallel lines are the same, right? So if it's a parallel line, he should have used the same slope along with that point. Should have used the same slope along with that point.
You just gotta write the point.
You guys got something down for number 5? You heard the answer. Did you? Were you able to formulate it in your own words and answer number 5? All right, number 6. Compare and contrast. What are the differences between equations of parallel lines and the equations of perpendicular lines? You can answer that, right? How are they the same? How are they different? Compare and contrast. Number 7, are lines L1 and L2 parallel? Explain. Just off the top of your head, do they look parallel? They're pretty close, aren't they?
Yeah, the other one's like slightly more slanted.
But the one's slightly more slanted. So we can do a rise over run here, right? We can go rise 6 and run 4. Right, so that's 6 over 4. Which would be 3 halves. Again, rise over run, that would be up 6. Did I add wrong here? No, I didn't. It'd be up 6 over 3. So L2 would be up 6 over 3, which would be 2. Are they the same slope? No. Are they parallel? No. Same idea for number 8. Let's look at the rise over run. We can do our subtraction, or we can just do rise over run when they give us a graph. Seems easier just to do rise over run. So L1, I go up 4 over 1. L2, I go up 4 over 1. You tell me what that means. So I'll wait for you guys to be done with 7 and 8, and then we'll move on to 9. So I didn't answer 7. I mean, I kind of did. I didn't answer 8. I kind of did.
That means they're parallel, right?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to go to school tomorrow for testing?
No, I'm pretty sure you do it at home. If your internet's not any good at home, then you can come to school.
They're making it real easy to cheat.
I know. Well, it's not that important of a test either, though, so.
What is it?
NWEA.
Maybe I'll be able to.
I mean, I was just gonna mostly guess on it.
I try kind of, and then I get discouraged that I try.
Okay, number 9, we have the point 0.03, y equals negative 2x plus 1 is our line. We want a line parallel to that line that goes to the point 0.03. So what do we need?
And then just point something.
Yeah, we use point slope form, but what do we need? We have a point, what do we need?
Oh, isn't it? Slope.
We need a slope, right? Do you guys know what the slope is?
-2.
Are you sure?
I think so. Yep.
How do you know it's -2 and not something else?
Because it's in the end spot where the slope is.
Okay, it's in the spot where the slope goes, and this -2 is what we're going to use to answer our question. Yeah. If this said perpendicular, then that would not be the right answer, right? If it was perpendicular, then I would need to change that to an opposite reciprocal. But so that is our slope. We just need to set up point slope form. Y minus our y sub 1, which is 3, equals m, which is -2, times the quantity x minus x sub 1. And I don't necessarily need to simplify. Can you guys do 10 through 12?
Probably.
Why don't you try that for me here on your own? Alright, let me do another one with you. Since it is parallel, we use the same slope. Same slope of this line, y equals 1/3. What's the slope of that line?
I think 1/3.
Yeah, it's that coefficient in front of the x. So my m is 1/3. My point, they give you the point, right? X sub 1, y sub 1 is right there. And we use the formula y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. That's the point slope formula. That's what I use. So it's y minus 0 equals 1/3 x minus 6. That's as far as I need to go. Sometimes they want you to put that in slope-intercept form. That's not what it says, does it? It just says write an equation. I did that.
You did that.
So number 11, what's my slope going to be? 1/2, right? So y minus 4 equals 1/2 times the quantity x plus 2. That was the answer to 11. Yeah.
So, like, since it's a negative, would it be like x plus 2?
Yep. That's exactly what I said. Yeah, whenever it's a minus negative, in my mind, I automatically change that to a plus. So if I'm automatically changing that to a plus in my mind, I might as well write it down that way. Okay? 12, y minus a -2, so that's y plus 2 equals -3/2 times the quantity x minus 6. You guys see that? Cool. Where? 12.
Apparently in Franklin County Middle School.
Yeah, that was number 12.
That's the only thing I've heard.
Moving on. Same idea, different question. Are they perpendicular? If they're perpendicular, they're going to have opposite reciprocal slopes. So again, we can rise over run here. So L1 goes down 2 over 4. Down 2 over 4. So that's -1/2. L2. L2 goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... No, 6. Oh, I don't want too many. Up 6 over 4. Does that look right to you? Let's double check that again. Up 6 over 4, yep. Are those slopes opposite reciprocals of each other? Nope.
Neither.
It's just basically a yes or no question, so it's a no.
Oh.
Are they perpendicular? No. Explain. They have different slopes. Not that they have different slopes. They don't have opposite reciprocal slopes, I should say. $14, if you were just to kind of wild hair guess, what do you think?
Yes.
Does look like it, doesn't it?
Did you say wild hair guess?
Yeah, is that a thing?
My hair's
It does look like it, but I don't think it is. Let's double check it. So rise over run. L1 goes down 7 over 7. So it's a -1. L2 goes up 7. No. L2 goes up 4. And over 5. Doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are they opposite reciprocals? Nope.
No.
So that's a no. No, sir.
What was 13? Was that a yes?
That's a no also. $15. What do you think? Does it look like it?
Yes.
Double check it. So I'm trying to see if these slopes are opposite reciprocal. So L1's down 4 over 4, which is a -1. L2 is up 6 over 6, which is a +1. Question is, a -1, a +1, are those opposite reciprocals?
Yes.
Are they? Yeah, they are. -1 over 1, if you flip that upside down and change the sign, it becomes 1 over 1, which is, yeah, we got it.
Mr. Davidson, you're the reason I second guess myself on everything in life.
Man, I'm sorry.
You make me overthink everything.
I don't want you to necessarily like second guess it, but I want us to be diligent. Okay? You know, there's like, huh? What? Diligent?
Yeah.
Just like carefully careful.
You don't make me second guess because I don't even know.
Like
Like you want,
you travel over a line.
yeah. So it's like,
I just kind of like go with whatever.
let's say you hired somebody to build your house, right? You want them to have confidence, but you also want them to work diligently so your house doesn't fall down, right?
I think that'd be pretty funny.
So when they're putting up, like, say, like a main beam that's going to hold your house together, you want them to kind of second guess and question themselves a little bit before they just go ho hum right into it. Okay? You want them to have confidence while being diligent. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. All right, 16. 16, they give you the slope basically, right? It's that coefficient, that number in front of x. They give that to you, but that's not what you use. You use that slope, flip it upside down, change the sign, and then that perpendicular, that opposite reciprocal slope is what you use to find that perpendicular line. Let's do one. So I'm going to identify the slope as 2/3. Good. I'm going to find its opposite reciprocal, -3/2. Everybody cool with what I did there? Why am I doing opposite reciprocal now? I was doing just the same thing before. It's perpendicular now, right? So now I have that perpendicular, the slope of that perpendicular line. I'm going to write an equation for it. So they give me a point. I have a slope, so it's y minus 6 equals -3/2 times quantity x minus 6. Can you do 17 and 18 on your own?
Yes.
Try them. Try them. 17, the slope is 1/2. The reciprocal slope would be what? -2. Hey, that's so smart. Can I challenge you to do those? In your head, it's just subtraction, right? Subtraction on top, subtraction on the bottom. Got to keep them in the correct order. 35, -2 minus the -8. Don't forget about that. -2 minus the -8. So -2 plus 8. Thank you. On the bottom, 3 minus the negative. 3 minus the negative. So that's 3 plus 8. Or sorry, 3 plus 5 is 8. I do that a lot. Simplifies down to 3/4. 36, name the property. We haven't done these in a while. The it is what it is property. Anybody remember? Starts with an R. Dylan?
The reflex.
Yeah, the reflexive property. (37) angle B is 8. Then 2 times the measure of angle B equals 16. What are we doing there? Don't overthink it. Not quite. Then I'm going to have someone else answer. What are we doing there, guys? It was 8. Yeah, multiplication property. (38) That's the distributive property, right? 3's knocking on the door of this parenthesis party. Say, hey, I want to come in and meet you guys, right? Hey, how you doing? I'm 3. Let's multiply. What? Yeah, so that's the distributive property. If RS, the line, the segment RS is congruent to the segment MN, and then MN is congruent to the segment RS, what's that called? Dylan?
Does it start with an S?
It does.
With the
Symmetric property.
property.
Yep. So it's the same forwards and backwards. (40) are 1 and 2 congruent. Somebody else. Are 1 and 2 congruent on number 40? Seen a couple different things. What property tells us that these are, it's a theorem actually, what theorem tells us that these are congruent? I remember. Dylan.
Is it the linear? No. Wait.
Vertical, yeah, the vertical angles theorem tells us that 1 and 2 are congruent. So yes, they are congruent by the vertical angles theorem. (41) are 1 and 2 congruent? Any good reason why there? There's a couple different things you could say. They both have to be 90 degrees. Why, though? I mean, the one's 90. Why does the other one have to be 90? And what do we call that? Two angles add up to equal 180. Supplementary. Yeah, good. So the other thing I would take here is 1 and 2 are linear pair, which linear pairs are supplementary. So they are supplementary. Close. I'm doing the math right. Yeah, not quite. Close. You're one off in the 10th spot. 36. Yeah, if 1 is 54, then 2 has to be whatever. Wait, I said 180 there. It needs to be 90. Back up. So it's got to be 90 minus 54. That'll give you angle 2. 36. All right, any questions, repeats, comments, concerns? All right.